Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome back to Learnxplore. My name is Joanna Oyelade, and today I have a very special guest with me, Mrs. Temitope Ncha. Welcome, ma. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you for being here today. I know that it is going to be a very interesting conversation. So before we start the conversation, please can you tell us a bit about yourself? What you do?
Okay, my name is Mrs. Temitope Ncha, and I am the Executive Director of Commerce International College. And we have a branch in Kaduna, and we have a branch here in Abuja. And I've been, though the school has been over 25 years, but I've been opportunity to be a leader as the Executive Director for 9 years. So I've been in the education sector for 9 years. Yes.
Wow, interesting. So before then, what were you doing before education? Or did you always have a passion for education?
Well, actually, I just finished my NYSC. It's actually my parents that own the school. So yes, and I lost my mom after my NYSC. So immediately after NYSC, I just
took over.
I just had to I had to join the education sector, and ever since then has been a very wonderful and beautiful journey. So I just remain in the education sector.
That's interesting. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
So our title today is Parental Influence on Education, Partnerships for Fostering Students' Achievement. And basically, we're just looking at the role of parents in education. Parental involvement has always been crucial to student success in any particular educational setting. But sometimes it appears that certain parents don't care so much. They don't care about their children's academic performance, or they make little efforts to create a conducive learning atmosphere for them, even at home. And then some are not responsive when it comes to discussing school matters, or they don't attend meetings or PTA, Parents and Teachers Association meetings. And then, there are many issues related to how parents are involved, parents being actively involved in their children's education. So today, that is just what we are going to be looking at. So first of all, I want to know the importance. Why is it important for parents to be involved in children's education?
Okay. Well, it's actually very important for parents to be involved in their children's education because I think let me just even start by saying what do we really mean by education? Sometimes whenever we talk about education, people just look. The first thing that comes to the mind is the school. The four walls of the school, and we tend to understand that education is not all about the four walls of the school. Education is just children acquiring knowledge, skills, you understand, and other things. So a parent being involved in children's education goes way beyond all about the academics, you understand, the math, the English, and all those things that we know about it. So the importance cannot be overemphasized, because if you want your children to know some basic skills of life, if you want your children to know how to interact with people socially, you understand, you want children to be aware of their environment, you understand. So that's all of that is education. So as a parent, you cannot just how will I put it, be negligent in how your child is being developed, you understand, how they tend to get information, how they grow, how they have knowledge in all these areas. So as a parent, you have to be involved in your children's education. You need to know what knowledge they're getting, you understand, you need to know what skills they're learning, you want to know who they're interacting with, how they need to interact with people socially, with their environment and everything. So the importance really overemphasized, because you have to, as a parent, you have to be very, very intentional in what your children are having access to. So the main importance of education parental involvement in education is something that I cannot just it's like I can't just really explain it, but it's very, very important, because at the end of the day, that's why sometimes you see some parents, in 15 years, you have a child, in 15 years, in 20 years time, you'll be looking at your child and you'll be wondering, who am I looking at? You're seeing a different person. And you'll be wondering, and you don't know that it's something that you did not take, you were not intentional about from the onset,
Yes.
once you had that child. So if you know you want to, within the next 10 years, within the next 15 years, within the next 20 years, you want to look at your child and be like, yes, this is my child, then you have to be intentional and be involved in the education of your child. And like I've said, it's not all about the four walls of the school. No, education is a total development of a child. It involves a different aspect. You understand? So you have to be involved. You have to know. You have to be intentional in everything, in the environment, your child, even the schools they go to too. You have to be intentional in everything. So I just feel it's a very, very important thing that parents need to be very they need to be intentional about the kind of environment and how their children get knowledge, how their children learn skills and things like that. So I hope, so I think that's it.
Yeah, I like the fact that you mentioned that it's not just about education, it's not just about school and like going to school, pay for school, because a lot of parents, like even recently, someone that my mom was talking to, and then he was like, he makes sure that he pays the best schools in town because he doesn't have time to spend with his children. So in his own mind, he feels that paying such high fees for them is going to substitute the amount of time that we'll be able to spend with them. But like you said, it is not enough. It is not enough for them just to go to the best schools and you are not spending time with them, because they say that the parents are one of the first teachers for the child. So there's a role that you have to play when you spend time with the children, not just sending them out to other people to be educated. So to streamline it, can we list some of the roles, the active roles that parents play in the lives of children?
Okay, some of
as regarding education. Yes.
As regarding education, okay. Parents have active roles to play, and I think the very important role. I'll just summarize everything to one very important role that parents have to play is creating a very good environment for their children. You understand, to be able to thrive in. I've earlier said education goes beyond just the four walls of a school. You understand, education is your children acquiring knowledge, skills, you understand, values, attitude, habits. So it involves a whole lot. So one of the active role parents can do is creating a very positive environment that their children can thrive in. You understand? And you start educating a child from the moment they are born. You understand? So and when we talk about environment too, we have different, like me personally, I see environment in the form of like three phases. There's the physical environment, there's the spiritual environment, that's one things that we cannot see, you understand, and there's the social environment. So what kind of environment do you create for your child? You understand? What kind of environment do you create that your child can thrive in? These are the things that you'll be able to, how will I put it, your child will be able to thrive in, that once they go to school, you understand, to be easier for them to do well in their academics. You understand? So the environment you create for your child's environment is very important. Like your physical environment, how is it something that your physical environment, how does it promote independence? You understand? Because as children, they have to learn how to be independent, they have to learn how to be responsible. There's some of the things that once you help your child in this, by the time they come to school, it will be easier for them to be able to catch up with other academic activities, you understand, that goes on in the four walls of the school. So I feel one of the very, very active way parents can be so involved in their children's education is the kind of environment that they create. Is it an environment that fosters learning? Is it an environment that is positive, that encourages them, that tells them that they can be best? You understand? Is it an environment where you purposely give them materials, you understand, or gadgets
Yeah.
that can foster their education? You understand? Is there an environment where you encourage extracurricular activities? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Where
Mm-hmm.
you say, okay, learn new skills. You understand? Is there an
Yeah.
environment where you encourage your children, you understand, to be thinking? So, it's just, it's a whole lot for parents. You
Yeah.
understand? It's just sometimes, after spending 9 years, I'm still 9 years in the education. I just see it
Mm-hmm.
breaks my heart when parents feel like, oh, let me just take my child to school. The teacher will teach my child how
And do
not to
it.
lie. The teacher will teach my child how to be good. The teacher will teach their children how to eat, all these
Mm.
things. Yes, I know there's a part that we as educators we play, you understand, but
Yeah.
parents need to understand that, see, there's a level, there's a way I can, as in, how will I put it? Okay, one thing, let me just mention this.
Mm-hmm.
The first 5 years of a child, you understand, is a very, very sensitive and important phase of children.
Yes.
So if,
Yes.
as a parent, you are not being intentional at this stage of development, that's between the 0 to 5 years, you will see
Mm.
that these children tend to, there are some skills and there's some things that they're supposed to have help them to develop, you understand, at
Yeah.
this stage, that you haven't done that, you understand. So when they come to school, you see children like that, they tend to really, really struggle in
Yeah.
the academic, in the four walls of the school. So I feel parents just need to create an environment whereby they encourage learning, curiosity. There's some fun activities you can do with your children, even by walking around
Yeah.
the streets, you understand. Yeah, so, oh, what is this?
Yes.
Oh, can you tell me what this is? You understand? Even having conversations with them, you
Mm-hmm.
understand. Even TV, there's some shows you can select. So they're just is I just I say I summarize everything in the environment, because even if they go to school, when they come back home, what environment are they meeting? You understand?
Yeah.
Because the problem with school is that there's limit to what you can control in school as a parent. So if you want to be involved in your children's education, the environment you create for them at home, that builds on what school have already started, you understand, and also
Mm-hmm.
expand on what school have already started in your child, you
Yeah.
understand. So that environment, that's why I'm saying environment is very, very important for
Yeah.
parents, you understand. As a role, that's one of the major roles they need to be involved in their children's education, the environment they create for these children, you understand. So I think that's
Yes. Yes. I think I very much agree with you because I have a few points and all you said literally summed it up. Encouraging learning at home, supporting homework, promoting positive attitude, communicating with the educators also, that's reaching out to the
yes,
teachers, and then attending school activities, instilling values and ethics. So I very much agree with everything you said because at the end of the day, it all boils down to the environment that they are in. So
it
our
all goes back.
next Yes. So our next up, what we're going to be looking at next is the positive outcomes linked to active parental engagement. So there's a 2022 study on International Journal of Educational Administration and Policy Studies that looked at the parental involvement of and students' academic performance. And then the findings of the study revealed that parents' involvement in children's education through provision of basic needs and effective communication, taking the children out, speaking to them, was it actually helped to improve children's academic performance. That is, parents that children that they saw that their parents were actively involved in their education, there was actually a positive progress in their academic performance. So we just want to look at certain situations where you've seen this as an educator, where you've seen this happen. That there have actually been positive outcomes. Maybe a parent that wasn't really involved and then became involved, or parents, or even maybe as an educator, you'll be able to tell like from students, like, okay, this child is doing very well. I can tell that their parent is actively involved, whereas this child is struggling because their parent is not really involved.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. I've seen several cases like that. But let me just use. I think I would like to use myself as an example. I hope I'm allowed to do that
Yes,
because
definitely.
I'm
Go ahead.
someone that my parents were actively involved in in my education. You
Mm.
understand? Like I earlier said before, you understand, when you asked me what are the other roles, I talked about environment. I found out that when a parent is intentional about the education of their child, it helps them to to achieve more. You understand? It helps
Yeah.
them in their academics, it helps them in school. You understand? So
Mm-hmm.
like let me use myself as an example. I remember my dad. You understand? My
Yeah.
dad, whenever we go to school, when we come back, mainly you come back when we ask you, what do you learn today?
Mm-hmm.
When you ask children, what did you learn in school today? It makes them to have to be able to think, sit down and think. It's like self-reflection. They reflect on what was being taught in
Yeah.
class. So they reflect on what they taught in class, and they will now express it to their parents and tell, oh, daddy, I learned this in maths, I learned this in English. So whenever you're in school, you know that before you get home, just make sure you listen attentively in class, because your father is going to ask. Even in my house, like while growing up, all of us we like maths because my two parents are mathematicians.
Oh
So
wow.
whenever we come, even if they come back home late in the night, they still take out time to do our maths assignment with us. They take out time
Mm.
to explain maths, and that has really helped us in our academics. You understand?
Wow.
And all of us know, sometimes when I look at all my siblings now, I'll just look at it and be like, wow, you understand, our parents really tried their best. No, they were always actively involved. They were selective of the kind of schools they take us to.
Mm.
You understand, they were selective of the kind of environment. I remember then when computer was just coming up, then my father bought us a big monitor and CPU. Like since when I was in primary school, we always
Oh
had that to
wow.
play with. You understand? So, and
Yeah.
that's one thing parents need to know the future. No, as a parent, you have to know what is going on around the world, what really is
Yeah.
happening, so that I can create the right environment for my child to thrive in. That time my father knew that technology is coming. So
Mm-hmm.
he went all out to get us one. If I think about the computer that was there in our sitting room, I used to laugh. You understand? So when you
Mm.
know what is going on in the next 10 years, like now, if I give birth to a child now in today, in the next 20 years, what's the future like for that child? So how
Mm-hmm.
am I prepared, being intentional on the education of that my child? How am I
Yeah.
intentional of the environment I'm creating at home? How am I intentional about the environment what they call the name taking my child to school that will help
Yeah.
that child? You understand? So by the time
Mm-hmm.
you are being intentional about this thing, you'll see that in the next 20 years, when others are struggling, are like, oh, I don't have job, when others are irrelevant, your child is
Mm.
relevant, your child is thriving, your child is moving with the trends, with the global
Yeah.
trends. Your child can strive because, oh, and my parents have prepared me for this.
Prepared me.
But if you're just every day, you understand. So that's why it's very important. So I've seen a lot of parents, you understand. So
Yeah.
parents that don't really they're not really interested. Some they don't even, they're so busy, you understand, and meaning it really affects their academics. You understand, even just not just academics, even their social well-being, even the way
Yeah.
they relate. You understand, and like I said earlier, you understand. When I see children in front of me, when my kids, I always ask myself, in the next 10 or 15 years, what's going to be the world? How's the world going to be for that child to thrive in? You understand? Now we are going into AI. You understand? So there's some skills, there's some jobs that will not be relevant again in the next 10 to 15 years. So how am I
Mm-hmm.
preparing my child for that world? So am I taking my child to a school that is aware of that?
Mm.
You understand? So that they are preparing their children for that future. You
Yeah.
understand? Is my child, you understand? Is my child, am I creating an environment or an awareness in my home that I'm preparing my children for this? Am I exposing my children to extracurricular activities that prepare them for that? So you
Yeah.
can see that if you decide to fold your hands as a parent and be like, oh, well, I'm too busy. Oh, I have a lot of things. You see that in the next 10, 15 years, you see you see a lot of graduates, you see a lot of people that you can't even employ them, no
Mm-hmm.
skills, they're not relevant. That's because both the educators and even their parents have failed them. So it's a whole ball game. So you can see that I'm sure I've been able to, you understand, to
Yes,
see, let you know
definitely.
that, see, yeah, so it affects them even in academics. You understand, if you're in an environment where, if children are at home where they're being pressured most of the time, you understand, or maybe they're going through a lot of emotional trauma, when they come to school, you find it very hard to really, you understand, to really get them to sit down and learn. You understand? So I feel I've seen, like I said, I just use myself as an example. You understand? So I've seen a lot of parents, I've seen a lot of children. You understand? Parents who are very intentional in involving themselves in the education of their child, they do excellently well. Excellently well, you understand, than those who are not intentional. You understand? But let me also mind you that there's some children that are just naturally brilliant.
Brilliant,
I've
yes.
seen some children that are just naturally brilliant. Involve, don't involve, they're just quick. But you know, children like that, when I mean naturally brilliant, they are quick like that in school, or they are quick to, they're very intelligent, because it still boils down to the environment the parents have created for them at home. Maybe at home they involve in so much, they involve in constructive play. Maybe at home they involve themselves in so many things, you understand, at home, that makes them to be curious, that makes them to be to develop their thinking skills, you understand, all those things. So by the time children like that come to school, mass English should be very easy for them to just cope with. So I think that's it.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned the rise of technology, and then even it's not even longer 10 years, 20 years, because in the next 2 to 3 years, with the rise of AI just came, and within the space of how many months it has blown up. There are so many apps, so many things that you can do with AI. So by next year, some of these things may even be still. By the ending of this year, this is September. By December, there may be new technology that the children have to keep up with, and the earlier they start, the better. So now we're going to be looking at ways that parents can get involved, because some parents may want to be involved, but they don't know how to be. They just feel like, okay, the children are going to good schools and all, but they don't know how to get involved. So what are some of the ways that parents can get involved?
Okay, I feel one of the ways parents can get involved, I would just say one of the very important ways. I think as every parent, you owe your children the duty to be informed. You understand? You should have information of everything that is going on in the world. You should be informed of everything. When I mean everything, just be how I want to put it now. Just be informed, because when you are informed, you understand, you will know, you will be very much more intentional on how to be involved in your children's education. You understand? You know, there are a lot of things that are going on right now. There are a lot of things out there. You understand? But when you are informed, you will know how to involve yourself in your child's education. You know, like I earlier said, you know, education is I want to emphasize this, because these are the mistakes most parents make. Education goes beyond the four walls of a school. Education is your children acquiring skills. You understand? Knowledge, habits. No, you understand? So you have to be informed of what are the skills my child needs to know. You have to be informed about, okay, what are the knowledge that I feel my child should know about. You understand? What are the things I want my child to do? Okay, what's the future of, what's the world going to look like when my child is a teenager? How do I prepare my child to, you understand, to be able to thrive in that environment? So when you are informed, you will now know, okay, yes, I have my child now. How do I prepare an environment at home that fosters learning? You understand? So you create a supportive environment, you understand, where you are supportive, even your small children. Oh, you give them a thumbs up. Oh, that's my boy. Oh, you can do better. Oh, you can do this. You understand? You encourage curiosity and genuine interest. You understand? When you say, oh wow, what did you learn in school to do? Wow, this is very interesting. So tell me more. Oh, you understand? Or like for me, for instance, I remember sometimes I even used to go deeper in some topics they teach my child. And okay, we'll check YouTube videos. My child sees some YouTube, like, wow, you understand? So you know, even so, another very important thing in creating an environment is that, you know, your children, you ask them questions. Like me, I ask my children a lot of questions so that they can be able to, it develops their critical thinking skills, and this will help them to in academics or in every areas of their life. Oh, why do you think this happened? Oh, how do you think we should go about this? Or what happened? You understand? I ask them questions that make them to think. You understand? So then also the you know, there's a lot of children these days, most times they spend a lot of time on TV, you understand, on
Yeah.
games. Now, another way you can be involved in your children's education is, okay, give them games that helps them in learning some skills, or
Yeah.
even learning
Educational
maths, learning
games. Mm.
English, learning how to speak right. Even there are some apps that teach them how to learn other languages. You understand?
Yeah.
Even some TV shows. There's some TV shows that you can expose your children to wild crafts. You understand, that teach them different animals. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there are different shows, different things. So that's why I keep emphasizing on this environment, because it's a you you just have to be informed, because if you don't know about all these shows, if you don't know about all these apps, so these are the things that you can do to involve yourself. Then when it comes to
Yeah.
school, I know, yes, some parents can be so busy, they might not have time. Okay, as
Mm.
an educator, you understand, once in a while, you know, when we have PTA meetings, okay, let me just say, when we have parent teacher conference, that's this, when you come to the, sometimes some schools call it open day. Yes, some schools call it open day. So when your school have open day, find time, make sure you take out time, go to the school. You understand? There's some things about there's some things you don't know about your child. You understand, that your
Mm.
teacher
Then the teacher
can tell
knows.
you
Yeah.
about your
Yeah.
children. You understand? They can say, oh, how's my child doing in maths? How's my child
Mm-hmm.
doing in English? Or what are the things you think I can do at home that can help my child? Even sometimes some people feel, oh, it's all about, okay, I get a lesson teacher, the lesson teacher will do the child all the assignments. No. Even me, I don't even really, to be honest, I don't personally subscribe to it, because right from tender age, my own kids, I make sure they try and do their assignment themselves. If they don't know how to do it, I tell them, okay, they should go back to school, politely ask their teacher to guide them again. Then when they
Mm.
come back home, we will try other assignments. So I make sure that they are independent, that do their
Mm-hmm.
assignment by themselves. If someone is always in school, somebody teach you how to do your assignment, you get home, you don't try it yourself, you have a teacher that will do the assignment for you. So before you know it, they don't develop the skill of trying to do things
Yeah.
out, to learn, you know, to have an interest in learning. You understand? So these are the things. So give them homework support. Oh, what do you think? You know, you guide them, you let them try and figure it out themselves. You understand? School, sometimes
Yeah.
some schools will call you, oh, this is what we noticed about Cynthia. It's not a time for you
Mm-hmm.
to start judging the school or rushing to the school to go and fight. Oh, okay,
Mm.
sit down, call Cynthia. Okay, Cynthia, this is what your school told me. What is the problem? No, have a conversation. Not one of the things we parents usually make with our children and the school is that we always underestimate our kids. You understand? When a school gives a report of your child, you just feel that, oh, like, I know my child does. No, just sit down with the child, discuss with the child. Okay, this is what your school told reported me to it. Why did you do this in school? What's the
Mm-hmm.
challenge? So discuss with your child, have an agreement with them. You understand? And so
Yeah.
these are the, you know, find out what are the new skills they need to know in math, what are the new trendy things in English, their diction, spelling, or what is the milestone in chemistry, in physics. When you know all of these things, when you even go to your school, you can challenge your school. You understand? Okay, now me, I feel right now there's no child, at least from a child from 13 years, as in 13 years, I'm using that as a yardstick down. They should know coding and programming. Oh, and you go to your school. Are you offering coding programs? Okay, if it's an extracurricular activity, I want my child to be enrolled. You understand? If you, and another thing
Mm-hmm.
again, that when you notice your children's skills,
And
their skills,
interest. Yeah.
yes, their interest. You understand? If your child likes drawing and drawing, he draws on your wall, he draws everywhere, please get him a drawing book
Mm-hmm.
with pencils. Let him be drawing, because he's an architect. And know that in the 10 years, we are in the, not 10 years, it's even here, we are in the technology era. So even if he likes drawing, me, like someone like me, I have a son like that. Do you know what I did? I got him a laptop. You understand? I started showing him how he can be drawing on this laptop, because that's not, you understand, that's where we are
Yeah.
going to. We're going to where architects don't need to be drawing and be using, they're all using that, they're using AutoCAD. You
Yeah.
understand? So you
Yeah.
can, there's some AIs that you can draw, you understand, animation. So you understand, as early as 5, your child can be learning animation. You understand? And
Mm-hmm.
you need to be informed of where your child can learn such. There are even some you can learn online, no courses. So it's just a whole lot. So once
Yeah.
you're once you know who your child is. And another thing I would like to say is that we have to know that every child is unique. So if you know, if you want to
Definitely.
you want to be involved in your child's education, know who your child is. Okay,
Yeah.
this is my child. This know who Tope is. So I am going to create an environment for Tope to thrive in
Yes.
and be the best that she can be and be relevant in her among her peers. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's just it. So even you understand, even when you come to school, you'll be like, oh, this is who Tope is. Oh, do people have creative arts activities? Oh, Tope
Mm-hmm.
likes to draw. Do you have any activities on drawing? You understand?
Yeah.
If the teacher complains and say, oh, then Tope is always drawing in school, she doesn't want to write her mathematics. Just call Tope when you get home. And Tope, your teacher say you're not listening to mathematics, you're drawing. Should we have a deal? Okay, in school, learn math. When you get home, I give you drawing things. Deal. You understand? So it's
Yeah.
just it's not something that you can just spell out like a how do I call it now? Like a formula. You understand? It's just something that you have to be intentional about and just help them. You understand?
Yeah.
Respect the child, their learning styles, respect them for who they are. Some they like seeing, some they like exploring by themselves, some they like hearing. You understand?
Yeah.
So these are the things. So by the time you do all of this, you just see that you see even the world will be a better place. You understand? Because if every one of
Yeah.
us are intentional and we are involved in our children's education, it's not that even some people might feel, oh, okay, it's because my child is going to a very expensive private school. That's why they are thriving more. No, there are some people that are even in government school. You understand? We've heard
Yes.
stories of people.
Yes.
You understand? Even they're
Yes.
in government school, their mother say, when you come back home, Tope, what did you learn today? If your government school, you find out that your child is going to a government school, they're not teaching physics and chemistry very well. You understand? Okay, with 100 naira, buy data, learn this thing on YouTube. You understand? Oh, go and buy textbook. When they have the textbook, when you come home, read one chapter. If you don't understand anything, check online. Oh, okay, there's this chemistry teacher that's my neighbor, or I know this person as a chemistry person. Please, can you explain this to my child? But if you just
Yeah.
leave everything to the school, leave everything and say, oh, it's government that did not give us good schools, or is the school I took my child to, they are not
Is
this
the
thing,
teachers are
they
not
are
doing
not
their job.
serious, they are not you will just you will be looking at your child the next 10 years and be wondering like, oh my god. And by that time has passed. So when you are
Yeah.
informed, when you're intentional about when you're informed and you're actively involved in the education of your child, you understand, you see your child thrive. You understand? So it all boils down to creating the right environment and being informed on things that are going on. And I'm sure by the time you're informed you will know what to do concerning
Yeah.
your child, because every child is unique, every child is different. You understand? What I might do for me might not what you can do for another person. You understand? But once
Yes.
you are informed, and thank God for technology today, you can just Google, you can do research, you understand, you can find out things, and so that's it.
Yeah. I think for me, I think the very first thing, honestly, is to know the child. Like before getting involved, I think it's best to know the child. And if you have many children or you have more than one child, know each child and do what works best for
Yes,
each child. Because then again, to just adopt
exactly.
one way of doing things for all of them will not really be best for everybody. Because, like you said, every
It might
child
not.
is unique. Thank you
Yes,
very much for that. So,
yes.
now we are going to be looking at parent-teacher relationships and how it affects the child or how it is beneficial, the parent-teacher relationships.
Okay, so parent-teacher relationship. You know,
Yeah,
as a teacher, you understand?
yeah,
You know, we spend, if you look at the hours of a day a child spends, you understand, in a day, they spend most of their time in school.
yeah,
In school, they interact a lot of their mates. You understand? They are in an environment where learning is constantly happening. So a teacher, you understand, who takes out time to observe and to see and know who this child is really is, might begin to notice some behaviors, some patterns. You understand? some
Yeah.
even some how will I put it, even some things that are affecting the child's academics, you understand. So it's very important as a teacher, you understand, to reach out to the parents, because
Mm.
I also personally believe that when it comes to the education and of a child, is a community thing, you understand. Even
Yes.
parents, you understand, they also need support of teachers. You
Yes.
understand? They need support
Mm-hmm.
from teachers. So even same thing for teacher. As a teacher, you need support from the parents, because you might be looking at child. You are viewing a child from the angle of being the four walls of a school. You understand? I've had instances of where children, the way they behave at home is slightly different from the way they behave in school. You understand? So, but once there's a communication, like a strong communication between the school, that's the educators, and the parents, it really help the child. And communication mean, you in then when I talk about like how I put the passing information, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because like for instance, a child can come to school today and he didn't do his assignments,
Yeah.
and he has been doing that for the past 2 days. It's really unfair as a teacher to take it all out on that student. You don't know maybe whether at home there was no light, or the parents come back late, or there is no support, or
Mm.
some children might even be having a lot of responsibilities. I've seen some older ones, the ones in
Yes.
secondary school,
Yeah.
whether they have to
Yeah.
take care of their siblings and they didn't have time. So it's really unfair to now take it all out on the
On
student.
the
But
child,
once
the
there's a
student.
communication whereby you be like, oh, you call the mom and say, Mrs. Icha, I found out that Temitope did not do her assignment. What happened? And I say, but she wasn't really doing anything at home now. There was no, by the time the mother gives you from the information of what happened at home, and as a teacher, you'll be like, oh, so what now made Temitope not to do her assignment? Then you call Temitope and say, Temitope, what happened? You
Mm.
understand? But if that communication is not there, do you understand? So a teacher is in
Yes.
school, you understand, how will I put it, handling Temitope based on what he perceived, you understand, and a teacher and a parent is at home handling Temitope based on what she perceived from the notes, not finding out what really is going on in school.
Yeah.
So you can see that we cannot be educating a child based on what we perceive or what we assume. We need to
Yeah.
find out information, and so there has to be a strong relationship between a teacher, that's the educator, and the parents. They
Parents.
need to have strong relationship. You understand?
Yeah.
Even if it might not be the teacher, even the school management. That's why we have PTA in schools. You understand? PTA in schools, you come to the school, you interact with other parents, you find out that, oh, is it just only me, or is it the whole school? Is it other parents that are having the same concerns? Or is it just
Exactly.
me that is particular to my child? Or I go to my class teacher and I find out, oh, I'm not getting what I want. I speak to the admin, I speak to the head. You understand? So,
Yes.
and another thing again is that, I've been getting like someone like me, because like I said, maybe because of the way my parents have been so involved in my education, maybe because
Yeah.
they were teachers, you understand. There's some content, you understand, that we expose our children to. And as a parent, if you are not communication, like you don't have that relationship with your teacher and with the school your child is going into, you will not even know the content that is your children are being exposed to. The information, when I mean content, I'm talking about information, the
Yeah.
knowledge. Because every school have their own principle. Every school
Mm-hmm.
have their own principles, their own values. So you understand. So you need to have, when you have a relationship with the school, you know, okay, this is the value of, this is the values, these are the principles of my children's school, and this is what they are giving, they're exposing my child into. If you have concerns on some of these things, you approach them. Oh, this is in a very nice way, you understand, and you let them know. So I think the relationship between a teacher and a parent cannot be overly emphasized. I remember, let me just share this. I remember when I was in junior secondary school in Kaduna, and I was always among the last three. Like I wasn't doing very, very well. You understand? And my father was always wondering, like when he's at home with me, he teaches maths, I do lesson, and I'm doing very well. But when it comes to my school academics, he's noticing I'm not doing very well. He comes to school, they'll tell me, Otokwa is a quiet person, she doesn't like talking in class, she's always on her own, she's reserved, she's an introvert, she's this. But my dad's like, okay, the Tope at home and the Tope in school, they are two different people. What really is going on? Do you understand? And my dad decided that, okay, let me change her school. Let me see what's going to happen. And immediately he changed my school. You understand? I was doing very, very well. Like I was among the first. I was always competing between first and second, first and second. Do you understand? So if my dad just decided, I'm like, oh, okay, you don't even know
Mm-hmm.
who I am at home. He will just take the information of what the teachers are giving me. And meanwhile, I was going through trauma. You understand? In that school. You understand? Because I wasn't
Yeah.
just, the environment wasn't an environment that I was okay with. But it's not something I could just tell my parent, my father. You understand? So these are
Yeah.
the things. So once there's a relationship where you're getting constant information, you understand, about your children's in school, and you are home, you're involved, you create an environment where you know who Tope is, you know her strengths, you know her weakness, you
Mm-hmm.
know who she really is as she, you understand. By the time you marry the time, like, okay, something is going on, then you'll be able to make some decisions, you'll be able to take some steps, you understand, for
Yeah.
Tope. You understand? So those are
Yeah.
the relationship between a teacher and a parent is very, very important.
Thank you very much. I like how everything that we are saying is just going back to communication. There needs to be
Yes,
communication between the parents and the child, because
exactly.
there are even certain things that children will go through in school that if there's no relationship between the parents and the
Mm-hmm.
child, there's no way that child is going through so much, but they don't know how to communicate it with their parents. And the parents that has not really studied their child and doesn't really know their child may not even be able to tell that, okay, maybe something is off with this child. And then
Yes.
also between the parents and the teachers, I think both parties see two very different sides. They see two different
Exactly.
sides to the child,
Mm-hmm.
because the child is in
Yes.
a different setting. The two settings are different. So obviously the child is their response to every environment will be different. So thank you very much for that answer. That story just wrapped it up nicely. Thank you. So we are going to be wrapping up with this last question, which
Okay.
is some of the challenges related to parental involvement and how to overcome them. For instance, some parents may feel overwhelmed by constant requests for involvement or volunteering at the school. So schools can be, like maybe they'll put so many meetings or so many activities that requires the parents' attention. And then while parents are trying to be actively involved with their students, there are also people are actually busy. The truth of the matter is that people are actually busy. So that is just an example. So there could be other challenges that parents face in trying to be involved with their children. So what are some of them and how can we overcome them?
Okay. I think you've mentioned some of them already. Some of the challenges can be a lot of, sometimes parents have busy schedules where they
Yeah,
are extremely busy because of work. You understand? Sometimes some parents can have what they call the name challenges. Like me personally, like I'm a parent who have two boys, and one of my challenge can be consistency. You understand? Being consistent. You
yeah,
understand, in what you're doing. You understand? Maybe this term I can be actively involved. I can have a good relationship with my children. When they're in year one, I had a very good relationship with it. There's
yeah,
a good communication with this school. But by the time they get to get to, I wasn't involved. Okay, maybe this period I was actively involved. Next period I'm not actively involved. Yes, so there are a lot of challenges. So, like we said, consistency, busy schedules. You
yeah.
understand? Sometimes some parents they find it very hard to communicate with their children. You understand? Sometimes there used to be a challenge of communicating with your children, your
Yeah.
child. You understand? So, and sometimes even some people they might be okay. They know what's best for their children. They know what they want to do for their children. There might be challenges of finance. You understand?
Yeah,
On
true,
some
true.
things. You understand? True. So, I just feel the one of the ways to overcome some of them, like for instance in the place of finance, one of the ways I feel you can overcome this is by being creative. You understand? By being very, very creative. You understand? So you have to start
Okay.
looking at other means of helping your child. Like if you see your child is interested in some extracurricular activities and it requires money for that child, you understand? You have to look at, okay, what other ways Are there other alternative? Is
Yeah.
that
And
something that might not
provide.
involve too much money? I know money will
Mm.
be involved, but at least not too much. Do you
Yeah.
understand? You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if maybe it just require me sacrificing 1,000 naira data for a month, okay, let the child learn some things on YouTube. Yes, I know there are some YouTube videos where children can learn even how to code on
Yeah.
Excel. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some free courses. Like I think I know of not Coursera. I know Coursera has some courses. There's this app where they can learn some courses free of charge. All they just need is access to internet and with
Yeah.
parental guidance. You understand? So when it comes to you have busy schedules. Yes, we you can have busy schedule and you might not have time to have that good communication like communication. Let me look at busy schedule parents. They always find it difficult having that good relationship with the teachers of their children.
Yeah.
That's where you have to be in a school system where they have opportunity to have some other means of communicating with parents. You
Yeah.
understand? Like we can use of technology wherever you are, you get information about your child, or you let the school know that okay, I'm hardly available. If there's anything concerning my child, send me a WhatsApp. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if you give me a call, I may not be able to pick up the call. Send me a WhatsApp. You understand?
Mm.
Oh, they do they have a WhatsApp platform for parents, or maybe some they have apps. There's some schools they have apps. They have a ways of communicating to. They have a school's portal. You understand all those things, or they send mails, emails. So once you just know that as a parent, once I get a WhatsApp, an email, a text message from my child's school, is something that I have to take in utmost importance. You understand? So if it's maybe because you consistency, you understand, it's just something you have to just tell yourself and say, okay, well, see, this is what I want. This is what I want for my child. And I have to discipline myself so that I'll be consistent with it. You understand? You can create
Yeah.
routines for your children. You can create reminders on your phone. Sometimes you may even forget. Just send this reminder, read, like for instance now some other ways, like for children that are very young, another way you can help them with their literacy skills is reading to them. You can say,
Yeah.
okay, reading time every night, we must read. Okay, if you say, okay, I exhausted all the novels, I can't keep buying novels all the time. For people that are Christians, even you're a Muslim, you can read your holy book. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? You can read the Bible, you can read the Quran. So there are many things you can just do. You understand? So
Yeah.
you just have to be informed, you understand, and just try not to look too much at the challenges that you have in front of you.
Yeah.
You understand? See how you can work your way around the challenges, because no matter how busy you are, you understand, you can once in a while, okay, before I eat, or even sometimes I will put a reminder by 9 p.m. You know that I always sleep like maybe 9, if you know you sleep by 10, put a reminder by 9 p.m. to say, okay, check all WhatsApp messages and email from the Temitope school. So I know
Mm-hmm.
that before I go to bed, I'll check my phone, I'll check my email. Did I get anything on Temitope school? No. Do you understand? Or even if I'm
Yeah.
busy, 9 p.m., phone call with Temitope at home. If I'm not available, I'm not around. Oh, Temitope, how are you today? How was school today? I know you're about to go to bed. Okay, you just gist, you rapport, you
Mm-hmm.
understand? You okay? How was school?
Yeah.
Have you done your homework? Were there any challenges? Do you understand? So even yourself,
Yeah.
we know, okay, you can give instructions to people that are with your child and say, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this to support it. You
Yeah.
understand? So those are the things. So it's just like I said, being creative. You understand? Looking at, okay, this is what I want to do. What other ways can I go about it? You understand? Being intentional and be disciplined. Just have to discipline yourself and say, okay, yes, I want to achieve this. I want to do this. You understand? This is what I want for my child. So I have to I have to sacrifice time. I have to sacrifice resources. I have to
Yeah.
sacrifice so many things, you understand, for
Yeah.
my child. Because the truth is that when they grow, it's like it's just you taking a back seat and just saying yes. I've, I've achieved. It's not time
So
for Temitope to take care of me. Oh, you understand? But it involves you
exactly.
taking sacrifice. It's
Yeah.
sacrifice you just have to.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know if there are any other challenges, but the challenges I've just said is one of the things that might be. And I think,
Yeah.
okay, yes, on communication, I don't think I mentioned anything on communication, because I feel another way is parents communicating with their children, you understand,
Yeah.
on the communicating with their parents. I see that as a challenge, you understand. So I feel parents just need to, sometimes just know that, I feel they just need to understand that, know that this is my child. You understand? The way I'll talk to, like the way I'm talking to you now, Joanne, is not the way I'll talk to my 5-year-old. It's not the way
Yeah.
I'll talk to my 13-year-old. It's not the way
Yes.
I'll talk to my teenager. You understand? So I need to understand that. You understand? I
Yes.
need to know that and know how to come to my child's level and listen. Communication is when you
Mm-hmm.
listen and give constructive feedback. You
Yeah.
understand? So you have to listen and be able to give a constructive feedback of what you have listened. You understand? So you have to be able to come down to your child's level. You understand? Listen to them. You understand? Because when you listen
Yeah.
to them, it will even help you to help guide you in knowing how you can be more involved. There's some children that what they want from you is to be showing up to school every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like just come
Mm-hmm.
and be picking them up every day. That's what they
Just
want.
know that you're there.
So if anytime they are coming back, your child, you come back from work and your child is complaining, "Mommy, not come and pick me today. Mommy, not come and pick me today." That child is communicating. So what that child
Mm-hmm.
wants is from you. If you know you cannot come and pick up that child, you will just see the person and say things like, because of mommy's work, I cannot come and pick you every day.
Mm-hmm.
So should we, you understand? Okay, let Mr. A be taking you from school. You understand? But when we come home, we're going to have 1 hour together. Is that fine? Or this 1 hour we have together, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to cook? Do you want us to paint? Do you want us to
Yeah.
draw? Do you want us to watch your favorite show? You understand that the child will be like, okay, so you have given the child an alternative. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
listen to your child. So sometimes children there's a way they communicate and they tell you what they want from you. So if you can be able to listen to them and know what they want from you, you understand, you'll be able to involve yourself more in their education. You understand? Sometimes even there's some things you might feel is best for your child, and your child might feel, okay, this is what I'm interested in. So once you
Mm-hmm.
can listen and communicate very well with that child, you'll be able to, involve yourself and say, okay,
Yeah.
in school you don't want to arts and design. What do you want to? I'm using that as an example. You don't want to be in the arts club. Okay, what do you want? Say, I want to do coding and robotics. Okay, do coding and robotics. Your child say, oh, I don't want to be in coding and robotics. It's dance I want. Okay, join the dance. You understand? So
Yeah.
you get. But if you just feel, you just feel you are doing what you feel is best for your child, or you understand, always know that the child too has a voice. So
Mm-hmm.
listen to the child, you understand? Because
Yeah.
I see communication as a very challenge in parents involving themselves in their children's education. They have that communication issue with children. So I think when you listen to your child, you'll be able to
All
do
right.
what's best for
Thank
your
you
child.
very, very much. That was such a great conversation. Thank you for being
Yes.
here. So I've learned so
Thank you,
much, but
John.
my major takeaways are communication. I think from the beginning till
Yes.
now, communication keeps coming up. Communication between the parent and the child, between the parent and the teacher, and
Yes.
even the between the teacher and the students.
You're
So,
welcome.
with that, we're going to wrap up. Thank you once again for being here. I enjoyed my
Yes.
time, and I hope you enjoyed your time as well.
Yes,
Thank you
yes, I
very
did.
much.
I did. I did.
Thank
I
you.
did.
All right.
All right.
See
Yeah, all
you
right.
next time. Bye.
Bye. Bye.